It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso as we take a techie turn, or at least we expand our own consciousness by talking about the expanding consciousness of others. And I think we are learning now more and more how little we know about the intelligence of animals. At least our eyes are being opened. We've been introduced to some amazing stories recently, certainly coming to an octopus when we think about my octopus teacher. But Grant is going to take us through some amazing stories, some findings, insights that he's arrived at around animal intelligence.
And how little we understand about them.
Exactly.
Biology was my favorite subject at high school.
Really?
Yeah, I loved
Okay.
it. Natural sciences now is what they call it.
Yeah, I believe that you did watch my octopus teacher.
I did,
Yeah.
and it was phenomenal. It's not new to a lot of people that understand octopuses. Octopuses are like...
Octopi.
Is it octopi? Is it octopi? Okay,
yeah.
cool. Go
with that.
Biology was my favorite subject at high school. English wasn't.
More land-based, yeah.
But we understand how intelligent they actually are, like for quite some time now. I remember going to the Washington, D.C. Zoo and seeing the octopus exhibit they had there. And the octopus had to be trained or at least entertained the entire time, because octopus in captivity can die of boredom because they have to be stimulated all the time.
Wow.
And they're always problem solving. You'll see, I mean, it's an incredible movie, My Octopus Teacher, and you have to watch it on Netflix. But you'll see the octopus that he's referring to, like playing in the wild, just like having fun. We don't think of animals having the concept of like having fun. Or feeling sadness, or feeling joy, or feeling depressed. But animals do feel those things, and they don't necessarily take the same way we do, but they feel them as realistically, or as real as we feel them. They feel it as well.
I mean, right now we see footage right now. There's an octopus playing with some kind of ball.
So that's a good example. So this ball might have food in it, and the octopus needs to work out how to get to the food, and you can't just feed an octopus. Like you have like a puzzle for it to solve to get to the food. An octopus can open up a jar as well, which is really cool. So I mean, what other animal can just like open up a jar to get what's inside?
And you see some of the incredible footage as well of how they learn so quickly and adapt in the wild in order to keep themselves safe, in order to build a home for themselves.
There's a ton of predators, and they live for brief lifespans in relationship to us, and they've got to learn really fast, like what's food, what's not food, what's going to attack me, and then develop techniques to counter it.
And over and above that, they're not taught these things. These are all instincts and learnings that they have to take on themselves.
Yeah, and they have to like work out puzzle solving. So in the film, the octopus will pick up shells to like cover itself to make it look like it's not, but it's not being taught that. It's literally working out. Hey, wait, this might actually work.
It's a genuine problem solving ability. Let's talk about another mammalian that has a brain that has often been described as being quite similar to ours. However, they don't sleep. They just swap from one hemisphere of the brain to another. Dolphins, we know about their insane intelligence, their EQ as well.
Yes.
Talk us
EQ is...
killer whales.
I'm glad you brought up EQ, because we're starting to learn things about whales. There was a great film called Blackfish. It's really worth watching. It's about orca whales that we never knew before. One of the things that we're finding out is that they have a really big emotional cortex in their brains. So we're starting to think that potentially whales that beach themselves voluntarily are doing so out of mourning for another whale that's passed. And if in Blackfish, you'll see it quite clearly. When a calf is removed from the pod will then cry out to find out where that calf is and follow the boat that took the calf. They're literally crying out to find it. In the footage that we have now, you'll see that this one mother in the wild found her calf died, which is not uncommon, but she literally tries to keep the calf like afloat. Going down to the depths, picking up her calf and keeping it up, just mourning the loss of her calf. And that's because of this emotional cortex that we're trying to understand. And it just goes to show that we have a perception of intelligence that is like, I don't know.
Human-based.
Like a beautiful mind type thing, and then we think that that is what intelligence is. But intelligence is a huge spectrum of things that animals can feel and experience existence the way we do in very different ways. And just because we can't relate to that doesn't mean we can't be compassionate and understanding to other animals and how they experience the world. Pigs.
Yeah, of course. So Elon Musk very recently implanted a chip into a pig's brain.
Yes,
some kind of
and I had a massive problem with it, with that part of the whole experiment. Pigs are incredibly intelligent. And there's a study that's been done recently about the level of intelligence that a pig has. And pigs and Alsatians have about the same like problem solving and intelligence as a 2-year-old child. Wow. So in fact, a young pig can work out what a mirror is faster than a human child. Their problem solving is a lot quicker when it comes to that kind of thing. Wow. There's a study here. This is the mirror where the pig works out that the mirror is actually a mirror and that the food is on the other side. This will take a pig about 6 hours to work out. It takes a child of the same age a couple of weeks to solve that particular problem. And we're just starting to understand how wildly intelligent animals are and how much we take them for granted. We should really start looking after animals and treat them the way we would treat our 2-year-old children.
Very true. I think well said. I think the overall kind of learning here is to have compassion for our animal counterparts out there. Some very interesting and surprising
Suddenly rethinking a lot of choices.
Yeah, exactly. So don't underestimate nature and, of course, its inhabitants. And just, you know, that's the gist of the day. And, of course, thanks to you, Grant, for always diving into the icy Great African Seas and into all kinds of worlds that we wouldn't necessarily do so on the regular to bring us all of this news. And, of course, do check out My Octopus Teacher. It's quite a touching film and one which I think will certainly result in some kind of consciousness being activated in your
paradigm shift.